Club Jesus. When churches become clubs, become nightclubs, that is just mind-blowing to me, gentlemen. Well, welcome to Tech Disciples. I am Shawn Alexander. Across from me is my man. Yes, the funky technician, Stephen D. Holder.
Funky.
And on the other side of me is the legendary DJ Terminator X.
Hey.
Oh, Terminator X in the house.
Now, gentlemen, we all love a good party.
I do. I know I do.
Really, but this is really something. When churches turn to nightclubs. And this is a really interesting episode because a lot of this kind of touches on what we experience at Southside Church of Christ. And let's just shout out our home.
Southside, shout out.
Southside Church of Christ, 800 Elmira Avenue in the Bull City, Durham, North Carolina. All right. So
we're not partying us. Oh, well, we are we're not partying like we're going to be talking about here.
Oh, not party, but we do. We all at Southside love and enjoy a good praise party.
Yes, we do.
Steve, what's going on?
So what's happening is people are starting to stop going to church as much, and church attendance is dwindling. People just aren't going, right? And it's really upsetting to see, but it is happening. And as people are leaving, religious or not, the bills are still due, right? The bills are still due, and let's just be real. Like, if people aren't showing up to church, they're probably not giving, or if they are giving, they're giving what they can, what they have, but in the eyes of paying bills, it's just not enough.
Yeah.
So churches are starting to wind up, going up for sale. And when they go up for sale, I mean, it's really anybody's game. Anybody can take it.
Fair game.
So that's probably a huge thing that's happening. And what we're going to talk about in this episode later in the program for sure is some churches that have gone through this. And it's just not, it's tough to see, but it's happening more and more. Honestly.
True.
So.
I mean, some churches are losing members faster than they're gaining TikTok views. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's if you're losing if you're losing members faster than you're gaining TikTok views, wait a minute, it sounds like I don't want to say this in a crass way, but it sounds like you're losing both, right? You're not getting many TikTok views.
This is true.
And you're losing members. This is not a winning streak here.
It's a lose-lose situation.
That's exactly what it is, man.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. So I think a question we have to ask is, like, why is this becoming so common? Like, why aren't people going to church as much? And all these buildings, I mean, geez, I know in the major cities, like, New York City or, LA, like, you got these historic buildings downtown, right?
Oh, my goodness.
Cobblestone, they got the huge, the bell tower, all the stuff we talked about in the last episode, being old.
I mean, just beautiful, beautiful buildings.
Beautiful and old, but it is beautiful. They're down. I mean, could you imagine, like, what the mortgage is on that?
Oh, my goodness.
Seriously, I mean,
seriously,
it's prime real estate, prime location, prime everything. You would think these churches would be flooded with people on Sunday or Wednesday or both or any day, really. Mm-hmm. But these churches are having problems. So we got to figure out why is this happening, right?
And one of the things for me, the elephant in the room, is just the thought of people not having faith. That just, I just cringe at that thought. One of the things that we can touch on is how much of it can we attribute to online worship, the cyber community. You know, I definitely want to hear yours. Definitely want to hear Norman's take on that. How much impact do we feel that the cyber community, worshiping at home, not coming into the building, how does that affect, church life?
Well, I think it affects it in a couple of ways. Number one, if the church doesn't even have the technology to broadcast to a cyber sanctuary, that's your problem number one. People can't find you, right? If you're downtown, think about it. You're downtown, like what's a major city? Just pick one. I don't want to keep making up.
Oh, okay, New York City. I'm from Stamford, Connecticut, so I'm literally a 35-minute drive to downtown Manhattan in good traffic, but it's never good traffic.
All right, we're back to New York City, downtown New York City, prime real estate. If that church is operating on an old mentality and old leadership, this is the way we've always done it, so we're going to keep doing it. You're not going to capture the newer generation. And going back to your online community, they can't find you. You mean to tell me we can't find a church service online in downtown New York City on a streaming platform? Is that what you're telling me? Why would I go there? I think that's what younger people are thinking about.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I must commend our church on is just all different types of events that we have, which to me builds community engagement. Just, okay, hey, we're doing this. We have a women's club. Just what was it, last week or a week before last? The gentleman, there was a men's retreat.
Yeah. That was really good.
Always something going on, something to keep us as members engaged. And do you feel that other churches aren't doing that? What's going on?
I think other churches are doing it in the way that works for them. And when I say them, I mean their own inner circle.
Okay.
So we have all these events at our church, come to it. They put a flyer outside or tape something to the telephone pole that blows away, right? And nobody, that means nothing to me. How are you going to capture the 24-year-old who's browsing online and just gets the notion? I wonder what churches are around here. My grandma's been saying this stuff about church for so long. Let me just see. I'm out on my own now. I haven't made any friends yet. I'm in a new area. Let me just go on YouTube or some other platform and type in, this city church, and let's just see what's up. There's going to be a lot of churches there that do have their platform. Is your church there listed? Because if it's not listed, people don't know who you are. And there's nobody going to telephone books anymore. Trying to find churches. If it's not word of mouth, if it's not a family member, if it's not online, how do you know what church to go to? And this is just a question really for anybody. I mean, how I found Southside, I went online. I was coming from Detroit to the RDU area and typed in, Church of Christ, and up came Southside along with some other churches, right? But I have to think that there's other churches in the area that do not have an online presence. And the other part that you asked, is it hurting in terms of really the contribution people will be giving, right? If you don't have an online giving tool, they can't give to you. It's just another excuse for them not to give. Oh, y'all ain't got no, okay, well, I guess you ain't getting it today. Yeah, right? I mean, you can still collect checks. You can still collect cash. Nobody's taking that away from you. But most people, again, if you're trying to capture the younger generation, they're going to almost expect you to have some sort of online giving platform that they can access easily. Most people don't want to sign up for another app. Most people don't want to go through multiple questions. Most people just want to say, hey, what's your tag, or what's your handle, what's your name? I'll electronically send you the money, and then be done. That it's the ease and convenience that regular people want. Terminator, you had something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like family gatherings, I think as from generation to generation, I think there has become a gap when you have to progress. You have to consider a changing world. Everything is changing. Music changes, television programming changes, everything changes. And I think some churches get stuck. I'm not saying to change the whole operation, but just do things. You have to appeal to the younger generation. You can't take them for granted because that's the future. That's the future of the world. That's the future of your church. So you can't ignore them. Another thing is, for me, I grew up when I grew up, I attended Abyssinian Baptist Church in New York City. We were pretty much like the Church of Christ, which is part of what attracted me to Church of Christ. Nobody's running up and down the aisles, they're passing out. I mean, people. I'm not, casting shade. I don't mean to anyway.
Right.
But sometimes that sort of thing is scary to kids.
Yeah.
And they come in and they're like, "What is it?" It's a little bit much. So, but like I just went to attended a church recently, and it was like I stepped back into 1958.
That church was so old.
For real.
But I think, it is church, yes. It is, the message doesn't change, but you have to adapt to, kids are living this is 2025. It's not 1957, 58. Not that you have to change your whole decor, but you have to take that in consideration. You have not to make church cool, but it has to be. It can't be unappealing at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, you made some real good points, man.
One of the things that Norm kind of touched on, kind of alluded to, that I'd like to go deeper into, and that is the fact that I think, in my opinion, I'd love to hear what you gentlemen feel, that progressive churches need to consciously think about what we need to do to get our younger generation engaged. So many times I see the older generation, kind of have the attitude like, well, if you're not excited about God and you don't want to learn, you don't have the initiative. That's the thing. Not everybody will take the initiative. Unfortunately, some people need to be pushed. Some people do. It is what it is. And that's when the whole progressive thinking, okay, what can we do to get this younger generation engaged? What can we do on their levels without getting crazy, to get them excited about learning more about our God.
One thing I like about Southside is the youth ministry. The youth, what is it? Kente, what they do on Saturdays? What is that called?
Yeah, Boys to Men.
Yeah,
Boys to Men.
Boys to Men.
Yes,
There's what is it for the young ladies?
I think it's Young Girls Ministry.
Okay, the young
they
girls.
call it.
Yeah.
So especially for the younger teens, Boys to Men, especially for the boys, obviously it's Boys to Men, but for the boys, that's appealing because they get to do play ball or do activities with other kids their age.
Yeah.
And that's a big attraction because if they come to church and they're sitting next to grandma and grandpa,
Right.
They're like, this is not cool. You know what I mean? If they get to interact with their, people their age, that's an appeal. It gives them something to do at the same time.
So I think you both made great points. And we have to kind of, again, with this Tech Disciples, this is what we're talking about, right? And we need to talk about this because, for this episode specifically, why do we want to engage the young people? Because if they leave, your older generation eventually will. Everybody's checking out of here at some point, one or another.
They will transition.
They will.
And we're going to have a sponsorship a little later on in our show.
We're on a sponsor, first sponsor right now. Go ahead, Shawn.
Yeah, which is great for preparation for transition, and that is so. This praise break also being brought to you by Journey Home Funeral Planning.
The other one. That's number 2. Sorry. Go back to the first one. Sponsor number
Okay,
one.
yeah. This praise break being brought to you by ePIOZ.
There you go. Yeah,
Helping churches like yours to get the
Go ahead,
tech
Norm.
side of ministry right. From fixing live stream issues, upgrading your sound and video, to finally getting Wi-Fi that actually works. ePIOZ handles the behind the scenes so your worship and outreach can truly shine. We partner with church leaders to improve the experience for members, visitors, and everyone tuning in online. Because when your tech is in order, your message reaches further and your church can grow.
Cool. All right. That's our first sponsor. And then we have our first praise break. Shawn, who do we have?
Okay, our first praise break is Meet Angel Faith. Now, Angel Faith is a Greensboro native, and now based in Indianapolis. And she's a co-founder of two Anointed Ministries and a Christian rapper she's a Christian rapper with a passion for glorifying God through music. That is truly a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
After stepping away from the secular music industry, she reclaimed her identity by adding "the" to her name as the bold statement of faith. Her breakout 2024 single, Kickback, captures her journey of returning to Christ, embracing her calling, and using rap as a ministry tool to share the gospel and her testimony.
Kickback, walking to the future, yeah, you haven't seen. Kickback, walking to the future, yeah, you haven't seen. Kickback, walking to the future, yeah, you haven't seen. You haven't seen, you haven't seen. Kickback, walking to the future, yeah, you haven't seen. Kickback, walking to the future, yeah, you haven't seen. Kickback, walking to the future, yeah, you haven't seen. You haven't seen, you haven't seen. Kickback, devil, big mad. God said he love me now, I'm big glad. He's a real big G, my God, too rad. Resting in his arms, said I need that. I'm walking in his promises. You wanna war, but ain't no stopping this. I fell in love and yeah, that's really it. Gave him my yes and ain't no time to quit. Cause I don't care what it looks like. Long as I got God, I'll be just fine. Promise me, be by my side. It's Bible. Kickback, walking to the future, yeah, you haven't seen. Kickback, walking to the future, yeah, you haven't seen. Kickback, walking to the future, yeah, you haven't seen. You haven't seen, you haven't seen. Kickback, walking to the future, yeah, you haven't seen. Kickback, walking to the future, yeah, you haven't seen. Kickback, walking to the future, yeah, you haven't seen. You haven't seen, you haven't seen. Surrender to your purpose, so you know I won't go back. I was bought with the price, and you know I won't go back. I was trying to numb the pain in the world, I won't go back to who I was before I made new, no throwback. Just fine, and I know I'ma be alright. God, by my side, everything's gonna be just fine. He's seated high above the skies, and he laid down his whole life. So when they ask, what's your why? I'ma say it's for El Shaddai.
That is Angel Faith with Kickback. Once again, a Greensboro native, but now based out of Indianapolis, Snaptown.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, Naptown. Yeah, that's what they call it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, the Angel Faith was a magnificent singer and great voice. I thought the video was really well. I never saw, cheerleading for God like that. And one of them big God T-shirts, I want one of them. When he was doing this right here, I like that. I like that. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to
that looked cool. for
hit her
real.
up and see if she has any extras. So, so now we're after the praise break, right?
Okay.
What can we do? Like, what can be done about this? Because again, when people leave, and again, I'm just being realistic here. When people leave, the money's not coming in, the bills aren't being paid. Your church is starting to decay,
Absolutely.
right? You're not ministering to anybody new. Nobody's coming. Like Terminator said, they're not. Nothing's attracting them, right? So what can we do? Like, what can be done? And I think this is going to be a hard conversation for certain churches that like to keep doing things the same way, right? Like what happened in 1980 to get people in is not going to happen in 2025 or 2026 or 2027 or beyond. Things just change. So I think I've always thought with technology, right? You're not only are you getting new people, but you're also able to expand your reach, right? Expand your reach. You don't know, like a lot of times, just on any algorithm where take YouTube, for example, whatever you watch, it's going to say, you might like this, and then give you another video.
Absolutely.
I get that all the time, right?
Absolutely.
And, being in the French community a little bit, I start getting, you might like this video, you might like this video, and then it turns into, you might like this sermon, you might like this sermon, and you click on it. The same thing can happen at your church. If you're somewhere, let's just say you're a church in Arizona or California, and you might have the mindset, or I could see a possible leader who's not very in tune with technology with the mindset of, oh, I'm not doing that. Nobody's going to listen to this, man. You don't know. You do not know. When people click on things, these algorithms are smart, and they catch up to people and say, hey, you might like this because of what you looked at from before. So I think it's imperative that the church leadership needs to look at technology as an avenue to reach out to these newer folks, and even some of the old folks, and say, hey, we're doing things a little different. We're trying something new. Be honest. Nobody's going to expect you to have technology working 100% because that's not going to happen. You're going to have problems with technology just like you have problems in the church. The example I always give is, in 1998, when people came into the building, you had typically people escort them to the pews. They're called ushers. Online, you have people who will come into your service to watch your service. You have ushers online as well. It's called something different. It's called moderators. Because just like in church, people can make a scene. People can make a scene online. They can start typing in stuff. If your chat feature is enabled, they can start typing and causing issues and distracting from the message for your viewers online. So just because you get technology does not mean your problems are going to go away. It means you're going to have new problems that you're going to have to be prepared to address. You see what I'm saying? So I think that for sure using technology is going to be a way to get newer people. I think not everybody, but at least newer people, and show people that you're innovative and that you're not always doing the same thing.
Absolutely.
What do y'all have?
One of the things too is I don't think you can be scared to try new things.
Okay. Yeah.
We tried. It didn't work so well. We may try it again later. We may not try it again later. But just you can't be scared, in my opinion, to try new things.
And I think another key to the puzzle is community outreach. Like we do the Bless the Block.
That was good last year, man.
You have to reach out to the community because they're not, especially someone that's not particularly looking for a church. How do you reach those people? Your congregation, like that Brother O talks about it all the time. Talk to your coworkers. Talk to your neighbors. They're not going to, if you don't do that, you're not bringing new folks in.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I do know for a fact one young lady that came to Bless the Block and then later brought her son to one of our services.
Did she?
Yes.
Look at that. See, that's exactly what.
Real. And you actually know the same young lady too, Steve.
I do?
Yes.
All right. Maybe I do.
For the sake of the show, we're
For the sake of the show.
for the sake of the show, we'll allow her to remain nameless at this juncture. But we'll talk about that later.
All right. Well, I mean, you're right, Terminator. Right. We were essentially trying to realign the mission with a message with modern context. Right. We gotta, like you said, we gotta update. Okay. Because again, these churches will. They will start to decay, and there's nothing worse than seeing an empty church building with a for sale sign, or an empty church building with no for sale sign and broken windows, vandalized.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
really? This is a house of worship at one point. And
Yes.
now it's just, I mean, talk about Club Jesus, like it could be a den for, I don't know the politically correct term for drug use, but that type of activity. And this was a house of worship at one time.
Yeah.
It's just,
Absolutely.
and especially with like the bigger buildings, he's like, yeah, this wonderful building. Like, what happened over time for it to decay to the point where people left?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think the questions we have to ask is what can we do, right? When we say we, what can you do? What can so and so do? And let it be something different. Don't let it be the same thing. So, what can your role? What can you do playing your what can you do in church to increase, I guess, your visibility and people to come? Because again, religious or not, these bills are coming. The mortgage is due on that building if it's not paid off.
Mm-hmm.
The gas, the electric, whatever else you got going on, and they have to pay. And I'm a firm believer in prayer. I promise you I am. But I also think that the Lord wants you to do your part as well. I mean, does that make sense? Like,
Oh, no,
we're gonna give it to God. Okay,
Yeah,
give it to him.
Faith without works is dead.
So
Yeah. So, okay, gentlemen, we talked about, that serious, unfortunately, negative side of what's going on with churches. Let's talk about success stories where churches are going down that path, but able to turn things around.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would really like to talk about that, but I personally don't know any church that has successfully been through that. The churches that I know have closed their doors. I would love to have a church to talk about, and even to help, with the technology and stuff that we do, but I don't know. I can't think of a church that has gone down a road. I've heard stories from other churches and other ministers from their church and what they've done, and that's great. I applaud them, emphatically. Congratulations. But I don't know any churches. When I've seen churches that have been kind of going down that spiral, they kind of keep going down that spiral, and I don't know what the answer is. Right? I'm not there is no magic wand to fix it. It's a collective effort with the leadership and the ministry leaders and the people of that congregation. So
Well, that's the thing, Steve. I know it's just hearsay at this juncture, but what are some of the things that you have heard that have worked in regards to churches turning things around?
Okay, here we go. I believe we are in a season right now where there is a changing of the guard in terms of the senior minister in churches. And it happened at our church, right? Brother Stevens passed the torch over to Brother Thomas. Brother Thomas is running with it right now. I think that's happening around the country and globally. I think it's just that era of time where there's a changing of the guard. And we can put on smile faces, we can applaud, we can clap, we can do all these great things, but the reality is some people are just with that old regime.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think we have to find a way of telling those people who are with the older mindset, like the way things used to be, listen, we do not want to leave you behind, but this is the direction that we're going. And that's very hard for some people to grasp. When you got to think, somebody's been in a minister position for over 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years. This minister has sat with you when you were sick, when your mother was sick, your father was sick, in the hospital, at the funerals, you married your kids. You have a deep, deep relationship with this minister. And now they're just stepping aside and somebody in your mind new is coming in. Not only are they new, they're coming in new, changing things.
Yes.
And it's a hard pill to swallow, but the answer is yes. The answer is yes. And, this part we're talking about right now isn't even technology. This is just, I think, church politics.
Yes.
Right? But when these new ministers come in and newer thoughts come in, newer ideas come in, we cannot just simply shut them down because you don't know how to do it. Even if they don't know how to do it, that's fine. But they have the foresight to say, hey, I don't know how to do this. You don't know how to do this, but somebody knows how to do this. I'm going to bring this person into our church to help us excel and go to the next level with bringing more people in. Yeah. I think that's what it is. I think that's our second sponsor.
Yes. All right. And speaking of our second sponsor, Journey Home. This praise break is also brought to you by a Journey Home Funeral Planning and Consulting. As a funeral planner, death doula, and consultant, Journey Home walks with individuals and family through one of the most challenging and sacred transformations. They help create meaningful memories, guide loved ones through the dying process, and assist in closing out final affairs with compassion, clarity, and care. Because everyone, when it comes to goodbye, deserves peace, dignity, and love. Reach out to Journey Home at journeyhomepc@gmail.com to learn more. Journey Home, where compassionate care meets end-of-life planning.
Journey Home is great. So that is headed by Candace Blunt. I have seen her. Her experience and what she's done for other people, sitting down and talking with them. And in my experience, I mean, I haven't worked with her. I'm not in that. Oh wait, let me back up. I don't want to mess this up. She's very phenomenal at what she does.
Oh yeah,
and the people that she's worked with that I've seen have been very appreciative of her work. So. Definitely want to, reach out to her. And one last thing, the print was small. I'll eat this. It's Journey Home F as in Frank, P as in Paul, C as in Charlie @gmail.com. Journey Home FPC @gmail.com to reach out to Journey Home. All right. So now for our second praise break, I got to give you guys a little bit of a background on this. So, we have two audiences. We have our English audience, of course, and we have a slight French audience. And our second praise break is a French one. So I contacted this group, and we have the sign up or get featured on Tech Disciples for your songs, right? And he filled it out. I was so excited. He filled it out in French, but of course he's French. So this is what's going to happen. I'm going to try to the best of my ability to read this in French, and then you're going to give us the smooth DJ Shawn Alexander voiceover for the English, which is on the back of your page there. So here we go. Cœur du Père est un groupe créé en 2023 avec une mission claire, aider les gens à rencontrer le cœur de Dieu à travers la louange. On est une équipe de 6 chanteurs et 6 musiciens animés par 3 mots clés, simplicité, beauté et pureté. Après un an et demi de travail entre prière, coordination, créativité, répétition nocturne et ajustement miniature de chaque détail, l'Ep3 Sois Glorifié et enfin né. Now go ahead and give us your the English for our English viewers.
Okay, that was great, Steve.
Was it?
Yeah,
we'll find
that
out.
wasn't good. That wasn't good. That was great.
I'm sure.
brother.
I'm sure they'll tell us in the comments.
For real. Heart of the Father is a group created in 2023 with a clear mission to help people encounter the heart of God through worship. They are a team of 6 singers and 6 musicians, okay, driven by 3 words: simplicity, beauty, and purity. After a year and a half of work between prayers, coordination, creativity, night rehearsals, and meticulous adjustments of every detail, the EP, I'm going to let you pronounce.
Sois Glorifié.
Yeah, all right.
Sois Glorifié.
Oh, you go, Steve. Was finally born, and here it is.
Sois glorifié. Tu m'as créé pour t'aimer, proclamer tes bienfaits. À jamais, sois glorifié. je m'abandonne à toi. Devant ta majesté, à tes pieds, je m'abandonne à toi. À jamais, sois glorifié. À jamais, sois glorifié. Seigneur, tu m'as guidé, je suis là pour t'adorer. À jamais, sois glorifié. Tu m'as créé pour t'aimer, proclamer tes bienfaits. À jamais, sois glorifié. Je m'abandonne devant ta majesté, à tes pieds, je m'abandonne à toi. Sois glorifié, à jamais, sois glorifié. Je m'abandonne devant ta majesté, sois glorifié. Tu es le seul digne, tu es digne de louange. Tu mérites la gloire, reçois notre louange. De toi sont toutes choses, pour toi sont toutes choses. Tu mérites la gloire. Nous proclamons encore, tu es digne de louange. Tu es digne, Jésus. Tu es digne de louange. Tu es la source de toutes choses. De toi sont toutes choses, pour toi sont toutes choses. Tu mérites la gloire. Je m'abandonne à toi. Nos cœurs s'inclinent devant toi. Devant ta majesté, à tes pieds, je m'abandonne à toi. À jamais, sois glorifié. Je m'abandonne à toi. Devant ta majesté, à tes pieds, je m'abandonne à jamais, sois glorifié. De toute éternité, à jamais, sois glorifié. Sois élevé, à jamais, sois glorifié. Tu es le roi des rois, le Seigneur des seigneurs. À jamais, sois glorifié. Tu règnes en majesté. À jamais, sois
All right, Steve. Yeah, man.
that's why-
I'm gonna let you handle that outro.
So that's Sois. Wait, now you got me tongue tied. Sois Glorifié by Cœur du Père. So that's them.
Okay. Yeah.
And I thought the song was amazing. I really liked the crew there. The gentleman on the drums, boy, he was getting it.
Yeah, for real.
That
He
boy
looked
was
young
just-
too.
He did look young, boy. They got it. So,
For
but you know
real.
that's another thing why we do this, right? Why we do different praise breaks from different places around the world. Like they in France, praise God is just a way similar to what we do. They close their eyes, they raise their hands, they worship. They do the same thing we do, but we don't know about this because we don't see that.
Absolutely.
So this is why we're reaching out to anybody. And if you are an artist and you want to get featured on Tech Disciples, please, at the end of the program, there'll be a QR code for you to scan, as well as the bottom of the description of the video. We love to have you on. So with that, I think we will go to Ali Encore, and that's what we're going to talk about. We got some clips from people.
Yes.
We got some clips from people.
Courtesy of our very own Terminator X.
You can start the break roll music, man, but we're going to be right back with Ali Encore.
And you do not want to miss
No,
it.
you're not going to want to miss this. We got
For real. Club Jesus.
clubs. Some churches have turned to clubs for sure. So coming right up, Ali Encore. I think we got a little bit of slowness on the song there. Okay, so we're on Ali Encore, and I want to give a shout out. So I was contacted by another podcaster, another Christian podcaster. It was a podcast called by God is the name of the podcast with Nick. Oh, I hope I'm saying your name right, buddy. Sivline. I hope that's it. I know his name was Nick. He was a cool dude, man. He has a card. Go ahead and put up his logo, Norm. We had a great chat, and I actually met him at a conference in Atlanta, Georgia, the Renaissance Church of Christ. They were having their Nehemiah Summit conference, and I met him there quickly, and we exchanged information, and he actually got back in contact with me. He's like, hey, man, I'm doing a podcast. I'd love you to be on. I'm like, do you got the right guy? I mean, who am I? I'm just, who am I?
You're a modest individual, Steve.
I guess so. I guess that's what he saw.
Stephen D. Holder, baby. Yes, baby.
Yeah, but he has a podcast out there. Go to his podcast, Called by God podcast.com, I believe is the link, and is also in the description and at the credits. And he has a lot of episodes on just people talking. And it's really informative. I was like, man, this is amazing, because I don't really necessarily see that many podcasts out there like that are Christian based. Because when you think of podcast and Christian or church, maybe you just think, I don't want to hear that. It's somebody pointing their finger at me saying, you're doing wrong. Here's a bunch of scriptures. You're turned off. His podcast here is something entirely different. I really encourage everybody to take a look at it. We actually we did a photo together on his podcast. Can you put it up? Do we got it? So, so there we are. And it was great. That was the photo he wanted. I think my teeth are just all up in the camera, but it's all good. But no, definitely check it out, man. His podcast is great. He has a lot of episodes, and I'm hoping we can collaborate in the future. So thank you to Nick and Call Back God podcast. So check that out. So now, this is me wiping my hands. We are Ali Encore. We got some clips, and I think Terminator, you got a clip you want to kind of share with us? You want to give us some background on it?
It's just some footage of some churches being sold, closing down, and turned into nightclubs, bars, restaurants.
Oh boy,
and so forth, such and so forth.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Let's see what you got, man.
What happens when a landmark church goes bankrupt? The Church of the Holy Communion on 20th Street in New York City had a pretty good 130-year run until it was deconsecrated for dwindling attendance during the crack epidemic. It was sold to a drug rehab nonprofit, which also struggled, and then in 1983, in a
sacrilegious
case of adaptive reuse, it turned into a drug den when it was converted to a nightclub called Limelight. Mayor Giuliani cracked down on the venue, and it went through multiple closures and a rebranding until the legal bills bankrupted it in 2007. The Chelsea neighborhood became really trendy by then, so it transformed into a 3-story marketplace for artisanal brands, then a David Barton gym whose motto was "Look Better Naked," and now it's slated to become an off-Broadway theater.
Here we go. I'm on that dope again, I'm on that flow again, switch up the flow again, yeah. Fly in the parachute, gripping that pole again, I'm on that all again, yeah.
So this is an old church that has been deconsecrated by the Catholic Church, and now you can actually drink a Guinness here, you can order food, and it's been turned into a full bar and restaurant. It is crazy.
But this church in Fort Lauderdale was recently renovated into a nightclub. It's got a little bit different vibe on the inside now than it used to.
But a pastor is saving the day. Yes, a pastor. He's allowing part of the church to be converted into a pub after services. There are, however, several rules. Everyone is welcome, but you have to go to church before heading to the pub. No music or dancing is allowed, and you have to be out by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Got to get on out of there.
Wow, Norm, that's some great footage.
Great footage.
And now, gentlemen, I have to admit, it's sad but true. I can see churches having to close their door, selling it. It becomes a nightclub. I saw one of them was a restaurant, nice restaurant, looked like a nice restaurant. But there was one church, please correct me if I'm wrong, that didn't, the church as a whole was not sold, but they sold a portion to a pub, a portion of the church to a pub.
So apparently the church wasn't doing well financially, and the church, they didn't sell it. They turned part of the church into a pub. And they have 2 rules, as they showed in the clip. You have to go to church first.
That's the real Club Jesus right there, boy.
Okay, you have to worship.
And you have to be out by 1. But I feel like that's how to liven up their church going bad.
So, I mean, So I want to touch on one thing you said, Shawn. You said nice, like, not club, but nice atmosphere or whatever, right? And that's what's happening. People who have these buildings, you got to update your building too. You got to update your building. I'm not saying you turn it into a disco, right? Like they did in that clip, but you got to get some new stuff.
Yes.
Because the people who, if your church fails and decays and is up for sale, somebody will buy it who does have the knowledge to turn it around into something like,
vision.
Yeah, this looks good. This looks good. This is a church. This was, but that's, it's hard conversations, man, but we have to have them. So we got some more clips here. Now this one we're going to show next is a news clip from ABC News. Now I spliced it down a lot. You could see the original version in the description and go to ABC. But I thought they did a great job of this. And this church is the one they're talking about is in Buffalo, New York. I'm from Buffalo.
Yes.
So this church is in Buffalo, New York, and the next time I go there, I'm going to see what's going on. But I thought this was an interesting clip that we should share on the podcast. Go ahead.
These are prayerful days for the faithful who used to raise their hearts and minds to heaven and filled the pews in this house of God in Buffalo, New York. This is where neighborhood children learned to sing, where people were married and buried. And what hurts is that after more than a century of worship, this working class neighborhood on the other side of these stained glass windows is losing something they might miss. This was their final Mass at the All Saints Parish on a warm Sunday in July. And this was the few who came. As empty as it was still many more than they've seen at any service here in years. The priests are encouraging them to take comfort in Holy Scripture that says for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. Here on earth, they had no choice but to sell.
How many churches have you had to close in the last few years?
We closed a number of places. We essentially went to half of what we used to back in the early 2000s.
Wait, you went to half?
Roughly. We lost about 100 parishes.
And we're talking about buildings that are as big as this one.
Not all of them, but yes.
Father Brian Zielinski is one of many religious leaders across America who's had to stand before cameras this year closing houses of worship. But it's simple, really. People just aren't going to church as much. On average, more than half of their churches today are baptizing fewer than one person a month, and 59% of them are spending more than they take in.
It's my job and role to not just pray about the situation, but to then look at the hard data and say, where does the church need to move?
And it's not just here, of course.
Correct.
It's not just Buffalo. It's not just New York.
Correct.
It's not just America. What's happening?
My personal opinion is simply that, we've become a culture that doesn't need God as much as we think we do.
And when you fast forward to the late 1940s, nearly 80% would tell you that they belong to a church, synagogue, mosque, or temple. Today, just 45% say the same, and only 32% say that they worship God in a house of prayer once a week. A year before the pandemic, America was losing as many as 1,000 churches a year. Scriptures also say that the devil is busy. And true believers say this is proof. Some of the oldest churches in the world turned into bars and nightclubs.
I mean, when you look at the tragedy of 9/11, churches were full immediately following that tragic event because we weren't in control. So who do we go to? We go to a God who is meant to guide us, to see us through tragedy. For lack of a better way of saying this, we've taken for granted that my church will always be there. But we've never asked the question, how is it going to be there?
Wow.
Yeah.
That
Seriously.
is something, yes.
Isn't, and it's, I'm sorry, I just got to say this one piece. That guy there, the preacher guy, Reverend guy there, closing all those churches, I think he was referring to the older people either dying off or not coming anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And what's going to happen to those buildings? There's a lot of church buildings. There's a lot of church buildings in Buffalo, New York. A lot of them. And it's unfortunate what happened to him, but like as the reporter was asked, it's not just Buffalo, it's not just America, it's everywhere what is happening. And technology isn't the answer to everything, but I think we can use it as a tool to bring new people in with new ideas. And I just don't know if the leadership in these churches are thinking that way while they're still trying to do stuff the old way.
That's true. The thing that startled me is he said half. We're like, the gentleman conducting the interview.
Mm-hmm.
That's, around roughly how many churches have closed? Half, 50%.
It's a big number.
Yes.
Big number. So, but hey, yeah, this is why we're here to talk about it. So obviously, if you are watching the podcast, Tech Disciples podcast, please comment or reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you and, get a discussion going. So now with all of that dismal news, somebody who I don't know, my uncle watches the podcast, right? And he's a musician, and he found this other musician who I don't know. I think Terminator knows him, who is, I guess, pretty snazzy on the bass, slap bass to see. And him and his grandma made a little clip about the church. And I think it's great. I think it's hilarious. I think more people might need to see this because I think a lot of times when people think about church, they think uptightness. Yes. And I think we need to get out of that. So,
okay, Norm, what can you tell us about this gentleman?
So, MonoNeon, considered one of the GOATs on the bass. He's worked with the likes of Prince. I've seen him perform with Ghost Note.
Terminator X
here in Raleigh. I got to meet him briefly, but he's well respected. He's you won't discover it in this video clip, but Google. Yeah, he likes to get, but his grandmother pretty much raised him, so he loves his grandmother very much, and they do videos all the time.
Man, let's see what we got. Man.
Yeah, let's see what we're working.
Go ahead and put him up.
Let's see what he's working with.
When you walk in, there's no judgment, no side eye. Just a place for you and I to come as we are. No need to hide from the truth. Just be you, all bubbly with a thank you for the open bar at the church. When Jesus turned water into wine, we said it's about that time for the open bar at the church. When Jesus turned water into wine, poured up is a miracle sign.
I think I found my new home here, where my soul and my cup is ready to rock and roll. With everything that's going on outside, I need a place for me and mine. So can I take that seat by your side? I'm not trying to hide from the truth. I'm just like you, all bubbly with the thank you for the open bar at the church. When Jesus turned water into wine, we said it was about that time for the open bar at the church. When Jesus turned water into wine, poured up as a miracle sign. Hey, hallelujah. Do you think we going to hell for all this fun? Only time can tell. So wild, so free, but I hope Jesus loves me. I hope Jesus loves me.
There we go.
For
boy.
the open bar at church. But hold up. One thing we have to give that man his props on. You know, he wasn't doing it in the video, but I'm sure now, Norm, that was him playing the bass throughout that, right?
Had to be him.
Oh man,
That's totally his music. He played the keyboards, everything.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that man was bad on it. That man was bad on it. And that's why, like, I'm glad my uncle sent me this video because, I mean, I don't know who, I'm not a musician, I don't know, but I'm sure he's well respected. He was nasty on the bass.
Absolutely.
And what was it? That was the grandma with him, Grandma Liz. That's who it was. You know, I don't know anything about them or their background, but I know that they have at least some ties to church, right?
Yeah.
And to kind of make a nice, humorous video about it, like I could see somebody maybe in his circle saying, "You did a church video with your grandma," and him saying, "Yeah, like what church do you go to?" And just that alone could be a pathway to something.
Absolutely.
You just never know. You just never know. So, that is where we're at. So go ahead, Terminator. You can start our credit roll, man. The music for the credit roll, then the credit roll. I always do that backwards. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode of Tech Disciples. I think what people need to know, or what they should think about, is visit a church, see how maybe old it is, or what if it's struggling, how they can help. Get involved. Get involved, because you don't want your church ending up like what we saw on these clips here. So. Remember to, follow us, like us. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor, interested in having your music featured on Tech Disciples, please click the links. And I got something for you guys here. Okay, here we go right here. Go ahead and pass this. Go ahead and
Red Solo cups.
Yeah.
For the open bar at the church.
Hey, man. All right. I am Stephen D. Holder.
I'm Shawn Alexander.
I am Terminator X.
No, Terminator X.
Take us to credits, man. We're done.